Council meeting for Tuesday, April 7, 2026. My name is Mark Clark. I'm the mayor. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pletka.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Neal.
Present.
Councilmember Crabtree.
Here.
Councilmember Delaney.
Here.
Councilmember Fair.
All right, next item on our agenda is the police department swearing in ceremony. Chief?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Turn that on. See if that works a little better. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Good evening. At this time, I would like to ask Officers Yarmer and Higaretta to please come to the front of the chamber. I would like to sincerely thank each of you for joining us this evening as we celebrate and welcome our newest police officers into the Evans Police Department. I asked Officers Yarmer and Higaretta to prepare a brief biography that I can share with you tonight. Well, let me tell you, they followed that instruction exactly. They were very brief. Not a lot of extra detail, so I guess we'll get to know these guys out in the community. Officer Wyatt Yarmer was born and raised in Aurora, Colorado. Prior to joining the Evans Police Department, he attended college where he studied criminal justice while competing as a collegiate baseball player, demonstrating both discipline and strong commitment to teamwork. He mentioned nothing about the college he went to school. Outside of his professional responsibility, Officer Yarmer enjoys spending time outdoors, including hunting, fishing, and exploring Colorado mountains. He also values staying active, traveling, and spending time with his family and his dog. In his prepared bio, Officer Yarmer mentioned his dog before family. So we'll just go ahead and reorder that for him here tonight. Family first, dog still very important. All right, we're proud to welcome him to the Evans Police Department, and we look forward to his contributions that he will make in his service to the Evans community. Officer Brady Higaretta. Officer Higaretta was born and raised in Montana, where a strong sense of work ethic and service is often part of everyday life. He went on to serve the United States Army as a military police officer and as a sergeant, developing leadership skills, discipline, and commitment to serving others. Following his military service, he chose to continue his path in law enforcement, carrying forward the same dedication to public service. He and his wife, Marissa, are proud to begin this next chapter with the Evans Police Department, and we are honored to have them as part of our community. I always enjoy swearing-in ceremonies as they represent the continued commitment to this honorable profession. One that is essential to a well-ordered society and foundational to strong and vibrant communities. This ceremony is more than a tradition. It's a meaningful milestone that is an important opportunity to recognize individuals who have made a deliberate and admirable choice to serve their community, to protect the public safety, and to uphold the principles of our Constitution. This is no small commitment, and it deserves to be honored. In a few moments, Officers Yarmer and Higaretta will take an oath. While the words themselves are simple, the responsibility behind them are profound. This oath is the foundation of our profession, and when it is upheld with integrity, it strengthens the bond of trust between law enforcement and the community. That trust is everything. It is earned through actions, reinforced through time, and safeguarded by those who wear the badge. To our new officers, as you take this oath, understand that you are joining a long and honorable line of men and women who have stood where you stand tonight. They chose service over self, and in doing so became part of something far greater than any one individual. This profession will challenge you, it will test your judgment, your resilience, and your character. But it will also provide you with purpose, with pride and with the opportunity to make a lasting difference in the lives of others. Carry that responsibility with you daily. Uphold the trust placed in you. Think of this community and your fellow officers. Serve with integrity, act with courage, and lead with humility. Honor the badge, not just in how you wear it, but in how you live up to it. To the families, tonight is just as much about you as it is about the officers standing before us. Your support, your sacrifice, and your trust makes this service possible. I want you to know that we take that trust seriously. We will care for your loved one as a member of our own family. We are committed to providing them with the highest level of training, the best available resources, and a culture that prioritizes their safety and well-being mentally, physically, and professionally. We will invest in their growth, support them through challenges, and do everything within our power to ensure they return home safely to you each day. To our officers, welcome. To our families, thank you. And to this community, we remain committed to serving with honor. Before we conclude, I want to leave our new officers with this. The badge you wear will grant you authority, but it is your character that will earn you respect. The community will remember how you treated them long after the call is over. And the measures of your career will not be defined by the challenges you faced, but by how you rise to meet them. Serve well, serve honorably, and never lose sight of the responsibility and privileges that come with this profession. Congratulations. At this time, I'd like to bring forward Officer Yarmers, the individual that he has selected to pin him. And at this time, Commander Wardlaw is going to pin Officer Higaretta. And at this time, we'll ask our municipal judge to perform the swearing in.
Raise your right hand. I, should you state your name?
I, Brady Higaretta,
I, Wyatt Yarmer. Do solemnly swear that,
do solemnly swear that,
on my honor,
on my honor,
I will never betray my badge,
I will never betray my badge,
my integrity,
my integrity,
my character,
my character,
or the public trust.
or the public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself
I will always have the courage to hold myself
and others accountable for our actions.
accountable for our actions.
I will always uphold the Constitution of the United States,
I will always uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
Home Rule Charter,
the Home Rule Charter,
and the ordinances of the City of Evans, Colorado,
and the ordinances of the City of Evans, Colorado,
and faithfully perform the duties of the agency I serve.
and faithfully perform the duties of the agency I serve.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
To our new officers, welcome to the City of Evans. We look forward to seeing you out there in the community. You are joining a very great police department with some fine men and women that serve this community. So we look forward to seeing you out there and welcome aboard. All right. All right, next item on our agenda, we have a proclamation for Americanism Day. I will go ahead and read that proclamation. Whereas in this time and throughout our history, the American Republic has found strength in its citizens' loyalty to the great national principles and ideas upon which this country was founded. And whereas everyday Americans at home and abroad bear witness to their national allegiance by extending deep devotion and sacrifice, some even at the cost of their lives. And whereas the continuing threat of terrorism on this great nation has only helped to unite and strengthen America, making Americans more determined, more generous, and proud to meet the challenges we face in defending our freedom. And whereas all loyal citizens should stand up and be proud that we are Americans and should make it clearly known to all that our democracy will long endure. And whereas it is fitting that we set aside one day in the year where every citizen may pause to reflect on his debt and devotion to other Americans and to bear witness in every appropriate way to his own Americanism. Now, therefore, I, Mark Clark, the mayor of the city of Evans, do hereby proclaim April 19, 2026 as Americanism Day in the city of Evans, and witness whereunto I have hereunto set my hand and caused the effect the official seal of the city of Evans this 7th day of April 2026. And I know we have some of our friends from the VFW here to accept this proclamation. If you'd like to come up. Yes.
Could we have one with you, Mark?
Sure, absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you.
Just thank you very much for this. It means a lot to us that we have the support of the Evans City Council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and our next proclamation is Days of Remembrance 2026. Whereas the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum defines the Holocaust as systematic, state-sponsored persecution and murder of 6 million Jews by the Nazi regime and collaborators between 1933 and 1945. In addition, 6 million others, including Roma people with disabilities, Poles, Soviet prisoners of war, and others were murdered by that regime and its collaborators. And whereas we gather in solemn remembrance of the 6 million Jewish men, women, and children who were murdered, as well as the millions of other innocent victims who suffered persecution and death under Nazi regime during World War II. And whereas the Holocaust stands as one of the darkest chapters in human history, where hatred, anti-Semitism, and intolerance led to the systematic destruction of families, communities, and cultures of Jews and others across Europe. And whereas we honor the courage and resilience of Holocaust survivors who have shared their stories so that future generations may learn from the past and safeguard the truth of that history. And whereas we recognize the bravery of those Jews and non-Jews who registered tyranny and great peril for their own lives to protect others in the face of unimaginable danger. And whereas remembrance and education are essential to its ensuring that the atrocities of the Holocaust are never forgotten and that societies remain vigilant against the forces of hatred, anti-Semitism, intolerance, and bigotry. And whereas the state of Colorado requires students complete coursework in the history of the Holocaust and other genocides and conditions of in a condition of high school graduation, ensuring that future generations learn the lessons of this history and understand the importance of preventing inhumanity. And now, therefore, I, Mark Clark, the mayor of the city of Evans, Colorado, do hereby proclaim the week of Sunday, April 12, 2026 through Sunday, April 19, 2026 as Day of Remembrance in the memory of the victims of the Holocaust, in honor of the survivors as well as the rescuers and liberators, and further proclaim that we as citizens of the city of Evans should work to promote human dignity and confront hate wherever and wherever it occurs. In witness hereunto, I have set my hand and caused the effective official seal of the city of Evans this 7th day of April 2026. And I understand Naomi Johnson and Russell Iverson are here in the audience to accept the proclamation. If you'd like to come forward.
Thank you.
Okay. We want to thank the City of Evans and Mayor Clark for signing this proclamation in honor of our week-long series of events that are coming up on the 12th. You are all welcome to come. That everything we have is open to the public and free, and it's to honor our continued partnership with Evans. Usually we have a speaker or so speaking either here at the rec center or at Riverside. This year it didn't happen, but it will again, and we're proud to have you among us as partners. It starts out Sunday with an interfaith service in memorial for the Holocaust, and then the speaker will be speaking Wednesday at Ames, and then we have movies and other lectures and activities throughout the week. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. It's always good to see you again.
All right, next is audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address City Council on any item that's not of a public hearing and or on the agenda? If so, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing none, we will move on to approval of the agenda. Madam Clerk, any changes to the agenda?
No, Mayor.
All right, I would entertain a motion to accept the agenda. I have a motion, a second, to approve the agenda as presented. Go ahead and submit your votes. And that motion carries 6-0. All right, next item on the agenda is consent agenda. Is there any changes to the consent agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion. All right, I have a motion, a second, to approve the consent agenda. Submit our votes. And that motion carries 6-0. All right, next item on our agenda is new business item number 9A, consideration of ordinance number 858-26, implementing state mandated landscape requirements, first reading. We'll hear from staff.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Here tonight to talk irrigation and landscaping. So the Governor's Office initiated some legislation that was enacted by the Colorado Legislature. First bill was Senate Bill 24-05. These are both water conservation measures, and Senate Bill 2405 prohibits the use of non-native grass and artificial turf in a number of areas. It was to both conserve water and also because of concern over adverse environmental effects from artificial turf. So the new limitations apply prospectively only, so it's new commercial, industrial developments, and then common areas of residential land developments beginning in 2026. The act also prohibits cities from putting non-native grass species or artificial turf in several areas, including parking lots, medians, and what they call transportation corridors or street right-of-way. So under the act, you can no longer use non-native species, and the act defines two categories of turf. Now, the first is functional turf, which is defined as that's located in a recreational use area or other space that is regularly used for civic, community, or recreational purposes. Specifically, the act notes that it could include playgrounds, sports fields, picnic grounds, portions of parks, parts of golf courses, and then it defines non-functional turf, the stuff you can't use anymore, as everything else. And the practical definition of non-functional turf is if the only time you walk on it is when you mow it, then it's probably non-functional turf. The Act also says that in addition to new developments, so all of this is prospective, but in addition to new developments in industrial or commercial developments, if you have an existing landscaped area and you re-landscape more than 50% of it, then you have to bring that new area into compliance, even though it was previously there. The Act also says that if you had turf in place prior to January 1st of 2026, or either artificial turf or non-native grass, it can remain and you can continue to maintain it. The original bill, Senate Bill 24-005, did not apply to residential developments, except certain common areas. Then the following year, the legislature enacted House Bill 1113 that made a couple of adjustments. First, it extended the limitations of the original bill to residential developments that have 12 or more units. And then the second thing it did is it said by 2028, municipalities need to adopt regulations that they have quite a bit of discretion to decide what they will be to conserve water with all other residential areas. So the proposed ordinance that you have in front of you creates a new section. It's 18.08.080. It's at the end of the landscaping section, which is chapter 18.08. And it implements all of the stuff that's in Senate Bill 24-005, as well as the first half of what's in House Bill 25-1113, which is the extension to 12-unit or greater multifamily units. The thing that your ordinance or your proposed ordinance does not do is address the second half of House Bill 25-1113 that says by 2028 you've got to have some new stuff in place to address all residential areas. For Evans, I'm not sure that that will be as big of an issue, A, because you have quite a bit of time before you get there, but B, you already have some provisions in your city code about xeriscaping and landscaping and things like that that may be sufficient to satisfy that part of the act. So you really may not need to do anything for the second part of the second act. But that's a summary of what the bill does, or the ordinance does. I'm glad to answer any questions. We do recommend the adoption of the ordinance.
Great, thank you, Scott. Councilmember Delaney.
Yes, Mr. So my question is about the non-functional turf. I'm thinking like when we built Da Vinci Park, there is a lot of turf on
You
that.
built what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Da
what you
Vinci
built.
Park, I apologize. Da Vinci Park. There's a lot of grass on there that's not like designated as like, oh, this is a soccer field. So does that fall under non-functional because there isn't a specified use for that grass?
Yeah, if it's a park that's open to general recreation use, people can go there and picnic and do things like that, then generally that's deemed to be functional turf.
Okay.
What they're talking about is that's non-functional is like the medians in your right-of-ways, or if there are areas of the park that are precluded from public use and have grass in there, then those are non-functional. But if it's just a general area of the park that is used for recreation purposes, that's functional turf.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. That's all I have.
Councilmember Neal.
Yes, Scott,
Right, your mic. Councilmember Neal, your mic.
you mentioned that it can be maintained. Does that include replacing that green carpeting that some people have in place of the lawn when it
Yeah.
deteriorates?
Right, yeah, the grandfathered in clause, which applies to anything that's there as of January 1st of 2026, applies to both non-functional turf and to artificial turf. And even artificial turf, you can still put in new artificial turf on things like athletic fields, things like that. So, you know, it sounds pretty onerous when you first read it, but then when you look at the prospective nature of it and the ability to maintain things that were there as of January 1, 2026, it becomes less onerous.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no other additional questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion. All right, I have a motion, a second, to approve ordinance number 858-26, an ordinance amending chapter 1808 of the Evans Municipal Code by adding sections 18.08-080, implementing certain state mandated landscaping requirements on first reading. Submit your votes, and that motion carries 6-0. All right, thank you, Scott. All right, next item on our agenda, 9B, consideration of Evans Ditch License and Utility Crossing Agreement with Public Service Company of Colorado at 49th Street and 35th Avenue. We'll hear from staff.
Good evening, Ty Boreski, Public Works and Utilities Director. Today I'm bringing a proposed ditch crossing agreement from Excel Energy, located just south of the intersection of 49th Street and 35th Avenue. So as you are all aware, all Evans ditch crossings must be approved by City Council. There have been a few changes since the last one I brought in front of you. We raised the ditch crossing fee to a $5,000 non-refundable license fee and also added a $5,000 deposit to be used to cover costs incurred by the city. Based on review of our interim city attorney, we also extended the warranty period in the agreement from the 1 year that was in there previously to 2 years to ensure consistency with other sections of the Evans Municipal Code. Happy to open it up for any questions.
Great, thank you, Ty, appreciate it. All right, is there any questions or comments? All right, not seeing, oh, Councilmember Neal. Did you go or, yes? No, okay, go ahead, Councilmember Neal.
Ty, I appreciate the staff looking into the other communities, what they were charging for this, and that's a big difference between $1,500 and $5,000 for our community. And I appreciate you looking into that and taking care of it.
All right, not seeing any additional questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion. All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the proposed Evans Ditch License and Utility Crossing Agreement near 49th Street and 35th Avenue with Public Service Company of Colorado.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
have not received a option to vote.
Oh, okay.
Are you in favor?
Are you in favor?
Yes, I am in
Okay.
favor.
Thank you. All right, and that motion carries 6-0. All right, thank you, Ty, appreciate it. All right, next item on our agenda, report, City Manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I just have a few things for you here tonight. First off, I want to remind the council the Polar Plunge is coming up at the Windsor Lake on Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Fred is proudly sporting his Polar Plunge gear. We appreciate that, Fred. It's a good event every year. There's a 5K. There's also obviously the Polar Plunge, and so it's a good time. If you're available, I certainly encourage you to go. Again, that's Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Coming up the following weekend, we have the community cleanup event Saturday, April 25th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Staff's been working to prepare that event. As a reminder, as we did last year, that is Saturday only. I know that in years past we did it Saturday and Sunday, and then before that, 2 weekends in a row. So this year, like last year, it's just that one day, Saturday, April 25th, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then we'll do another event here coming up this fall. And lastly, Mr. Mayor and Council, we have the Blooms and Brews event coming up on Saturday, May 2nd at Riverside Park, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. I know the Mayor Pro Tem Pletka and Councilman Delaney have been busy working with city staff to prepare that new festival, that new event for the community. So we're certainly excited to roll that out to the community. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have this evening. I'll turn it back over to Council.
Great, thank you. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. You have a couple catch-up items in your code. We did one of them tonight with the landscaping and irrigation one. The next meeting will bring forward the ADU new legislation and what our recommended ordinance is to comply with that. And then we may bring forward the Wildfire Resiliency Act. I say may because it's supposed to be done this year, but they have a map of whether you're in or out of an area that's affected. And the board that they created that is supposed to put together that map isn't able to work the map and tell people if they're in or out. So as a result, the legislature is looking at a bill to extend the time to comply with the wildfire resiliency requirements for another year. Other than that, we're just working on the same old stuff we always do.
All right, great. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. All right, next item on our agenda is council discussion, since that's not request to speak. There we go. All right, so just want to give everybody an update regarding our city attorney process. I know I spoke to a few of you the other day, but we're kind of going back to the drawing board. We did have an agreement in place with an individual that we hired. We thought we had a start date of April 27th. Unfortunately, that individual received another offer at another community and decided to take that one yesterday. I was notified of that. So we are going to go back out and re-advertise and see what we get out there, and hopefully we'll get some good applicants as well as we did last time, and hopefully have somebody in place in the next couple months or so. So that's all I have. Just wanted to give you an update on that. So yeah, Councilmember Neal.
Well, I had more planned for tonight. I'm still trying to get back to the stuff that I skipped when Mr. Crabtree, Councilmember Crabtree, wanted to leave early. This is, I have some photographs of the intersection of 31st and Empire. And in the one photograph, you can see that there's, I'll pass them down, that there are apparently 3 easements there. One for the gas line, one for the railroad, and one for the Evans ditch. And it's kind of like we need to get this maintained because it looks pretty bad from this point on. And I think staff is willing to do that and getting some talking and trying to talk with Union Pacific about trying to maintain near the railroad tracks with their permission to some extent, getting that mowed down. Yes, go ahead. And this second one you can see our irrigation box right there, and to the train tracks. It's 15 feet roughly to the rail from the edge of our box. So these are things that keep coming up in various complaints from the east side. So I'm passing along again. One of the other things that I really wanted to mention is we have a lot of areas in the city limits that aren't in the city, they're in the county. And I think it behooves us, because I get so many people that don't know that that's in the county, that we have our own sign shop now. We can go out and post that this section is in the county. I know it's kind of a hassle, but I think that something needs to be done about this so that people are aware that it's not our fault that it looks like that. It's because it's in the county. And I think that's something that the council should consider doing. And I'll expand on this topic later on when I get more notes put together on it.
Councilmember Delaney, sorry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem, jump in if you want. I just wanted to give you just a little bit of an update on where we're looking at with Blooms and Brews, and just let the people know what it actually is as well. So we have a lot of fun things planned for that day. There's going to be a cornhole tournament. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be beer vendors. There's going to be like informational classes on how to properly like maintain gardens and how to grow things right and things like that. Also some stuff for, plants that don't take a lot of water, which goes right back to what we were talking about earlier today. And then there's going to be a lot of entertainment for the kids. And I think it's going to be a great event, and I hope a lot of people come out, and it's going to be a great thing. So that's all I had. Anything, Mayor Pro Tem?
No, it
What's
sounds
the
like
date
it's going to be
again?
an exciting event, so I'm excited for all the activities they have planned.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question in
Yes.
regards to that? You stated vendors. Are you still taking additional vendors or like people that present in regards to kind of similar to educational possibilities?
They would probably have to ask Jen.
Yeah,
I think.
I think Jen would be the point of contact for that.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Just really quickly, Councilmember Neal, when you get these complaints, do you wait until the city council meetings to bring them to us? Or do you take them immediately to the city manager so he can get figured out who needs to address these right away? Because just the first one you brought up, you said 3 different easements. We can't take care of other people's property. We do have budgets and restraints in that, and I'm just making sure that these are getting addressed properly, which is to Cody, and then you get the answer. And I understand talking about it up here, but I want to make sure that the issue is getting addressed properly as soon as possible. And I'm wondering, did you take these to Cody so he could, figure out who does what?
Yes, this is a continuation of a complaint that I got months ago about this area, and I'm still getting some complaints about it. But we were told at one point that we could not go on the Union Pacific right away and maintain it, but it's 15 feet from the rail to our box. Who maintains it? You got 3 different people in that easement. You got the railroad, you got us, and you got the gas company.
I understand that, but Cody would be the one to get you the answer for that. And I understand people are going to complain. They complain about everything under the sun. I just want to make sure that before it gets up here, we're working on getting an answer for them. And that would be through Cody.
It's been rediscussed with Cody
Okay.
yesterday, and I didn't bring the pictures yesterday to show him, but he can certainly look at them. And he's aware of it, and he's trying to get it addressed. But
Okay. Well, I
it's stuff like
understand
this.
their concern. It's just, like I said, we also have to follow certain policy and procedure, and I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the residents. And they may not like the answers they get, I understand that.
They don't. Some of 'em.
But sometimes that's the answer we have to give. And I live near quite a few of the properties that people have complaints about, but once I tell them it's in the county, then they're okay with it. They may not be happy with it, but they're okay with it. So having those answers or being able to look into it, I understand. It's just, I want to make sure that we're following proper policy and procedure as well.
Well, that's why I brought up about posting these areas, because a lot of people don't know about it, and they think it belongs to Evans. And that was my original talk, was going to be about one of those people.
Well, I guess with that aspect, if you don't mind, does anybody on council want to have staff look into the possibility of designating city limits versus county? Because I agree with Mayor Protem. This is a policy issue at a staff level, not a council issue. But the entertaining part could be, does council have the appetite to look at possibly city boundary, county, Greeley, et cetera?
No, because we're missing so many areas. I think the city has other signs and that they need to focus on before we do the city, because near me, it would be city, county, city, county, city, county. And that's just not feasible when they have so many street signs they need to replace and all the other areas they need to work on. So for me, no, that's not feasible, but I understand we all have an opinion.
What I was thinking that would help, I think, especially since we are always wanting to, provide information to the city of Evans and our residents, maybe we can just put our map up, because we have our map and just show, do a did you know? Did you know that specific areas may seem as though they're a part of Evans, but they're not, just to help mitigate your concerns. And I'm sure, as you mentioned, Cody's already working on the easement component, but it'd be fantastic for us to hear about what that looks like. Maybe maybe he can actually send an email to all of us and let us know, hey, what transpired, so we are all aware and we're all on the same page, so it can help also provide some insight on that specific concern that you have.
Did you want me to jump in and
No,
respond?
if you want to.
Okay, yeah, so to respond to your side, I think bringing up the response was more than appropriate, and then you asking the question was great. I mean, this is what this conversation is about. So thank you, Fred, for at least bringing it to the council discussion. It's fine. No, I don't think that we need to have our sign shop print boundary signs. That's completely inappropriate and a waste of time and money. I do like your idea of the boundary map digital. But we don't need to do anything today on it.
Right. And Cody, did you want to state something?
I was just going to state that Councilman Neal and I did have a conversation yesterday during our standing meeting together. We have Mondays before city council meetings. We've discussed it a few times, and we know that there's challenges through that area with various easements. And I do have the team working on it to identify what a solution looks like for maintenance moving forward throughout 2026. Just today I had Curtis Cunningham out looking at 31st Street outfall and what that looks like. Interestingly, what we found is a good part of the 31st Street outfall is actually in the city of Greeley, or parts of it, are in the city of Greeley. And so there's certainly some coordination that we need to make sure is in place with the city of Greeley, but also moving forward in 2026 with maintenance, making sure that we've got that on our rotation to go through and clean up the trash, clean up the tall weeds and whatnot, and make sure it's mowed and maintained properly. I've also had discussions with Bethany and with Chief Darlin regarding code enforcement and just reaching out now and building those relationships with the Union Pacific to try to have a more successful maintenance campaign for the area along the tracks. And so we're not perfect yet, but we're certainly working each day to build those relationships and improve the aesthetics of the community, and we'll continue to do that.
Awesome. Thank you, Cody. All right, not seeing anything for the rest of council discussion. Thank you, everybody, for